Hey, what's going on, crypto people? It is your boy, the Crypto Siege, with another day in the life and the crazy life. So this is digital asset space. Hey, good afternoon. Earlier afternoon stream than I normally like to do, but like I said on the driving video this morning that I have yet to upload, we're gonna go out of town for a bit, so I wanted to hop on here real quick and get this done, and perhaps do one later on. I got some planning and some review, some homework actually that I got to get done. Um, for tomorrow. So I want to hop on here early because we got a bunch of stuff to do before we head out of town. So appreciate you guys hanging out. Rasheen B. Wealthy was good. Win Mullet, wouldn't see. Hey, what's going on, Win Mullet? Outdoor Food is in the building. How are you, Outdoor Food? So I wanted to knock this thing out. Hopefully you guys can hear me good. Hopefully the sound is working okay. Please let me know if the sound is not good. How you guys doing this afternoon? Everything good? It's Friday, right? It is Friday. Sound is good. Excellent. I love it. A lot of interesting things going on Twitter. I did my driving videos. I talked about Susan B. Anthony on that panel with the guy I believe from Korea, talking about the guy on the right. I forget what his name was, but boy, was he laying it down about how this private technology could be put into place with underneath a government entity, if you will, kind of overseeing and or regulating and or implementing and or adopting, right? That's what they say. Governments don't create, they adopt. Yeah, Gucci girl, how you doing this afternoon? Actually, I did do 2 driving videos this morning, but I haven't uploaded them yet. I have not uploaded them. I'm trying to get set up for heading out of town. So I got to upload those videos, just a quick upload. A lot of times on this phone of mine, when I upload those videos, it takes a long time to upload. Crypto Dread is in the building. What's going on, man? You and Blockchain Back are live at the same time. What? Live at the same time? Is that right? Blockchain Backer is doing a live stream. Oh, wow. XRP Joe, good morning, C's. Good morning, XRP Joe. How are you? Crawfish, XRP is in the building. What's up? Thanks, C's. How you doing, Crawfish? Good to see you on the stream, man. Dry ice or Drice. Hi all. Francois is in the building. How are you, Francois? Where are you checking in from, Francois? Yeah, so a lot of crazy things going on Twitter, but I'll question that thing. I was in the Patreon the other day, and I had on Darren Moore's Patreon, and he had uploaded that video with Susan B. Anthony and the Korean guy as well. I forget his name, but it was the guy on the right who was really talking about how this standard, if you will, protocol and or ledger, whichever, to be implemented, and how you just use private technology, as innovative. You call it innovative technology, private innovative technology, but underneath it would be something like an FSOC, some kind of government agency or entity to kind of oversee it, right? And so it really does make sense. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to share a couple of videos with you guys as well. That just for me, just said that this is something that's been thought out, planned out from the very, very, very beginning, 2008, 2009. That this is the move that they were going to make. China has been rumbling about moving away from the dollar as a world reserve currency for a while now, right? It's not just, we're just hearing more about it now. We're just, become more enlightened about it now. But they've been talking about this for a while. And yeah, so I'm going to share something I think you guys will find is a kind of a good listen to. Absolutely, France. Oh, good to hear that, Francois. Checking in from France. Wow, that's cool. Glad to have you in the stream, man. JS is like, not seeing the move I quite expected from last night, but it's up and the day isn't over. That is correct, Trice. That is correct, JS. And Drice says, who's behind all these XRP giveaways? How are they still getting away with this? I don't know. I don't know how YouTube advice not addressed this and not find these people and taking them down. I really don't understand it. It's brutal, and people are sending in their digital assets expecting to get more back. It's crazy. XRP Joe says location roll call. Are you ready? I'm in Pismo Beach, California. Good old US of A. How about that? Yeah, mine's is on 70 crawfish. Crawfish is like not made for cold weather heater, is set on 68. And we have ours on 70 in this spot. CK is in the building. How you doing, CK? How you doing, CK? So really, really good stuff going on in the community. Lots of good information. XRP Crypto Wolf, as usual, has been doing his thing, which is really, really cool. Yeah, they do, XRP Joe. I don't understand why YouTube is not on that and making sure that these guys, are taking off that platform, right? Guys, 30 people on the stream, 10 likes. If you haven't had a chance yet to smash the like on the way in, X out that chat real quick and go smash the like and then come back and hang out. So I wanted to talk about this because we've heard about XRP being the standard for a long time now, right? For a long time now. And we know that Ripple, the company, has been doing their thing since 2012. But Bitcoin and the technology behind it has been around since at least 2008, right? It's been, it may have been introduced to us in 2009, but it's been around since 2008. But this notion and this idea of walking away from the US dollar as a world reserve currency has been around for a while, right? And so, this one world reserve currency or this one global reserve currency, this whole idea behind it has been around for a while. It really has been around for a while. And if the largest, let's think about this for a second. If the largest nations, largest economies, if you will, in the world decide to adopt XRP L and the ledger, right? And then they make this move to XRP begins to be implemented in more exchanges as the base currency. If they begin to tout XRP as the best digital asset out there in the market, doesn't it make sense that they would eventually flow into XRP as the global world reserve currency? It doesn't mean that each currency doesn't have their own CBDC or even something that they have themselves, but it would be something where it's considered the standard because of so many of its use cases and it being on base pairs all over the world and different exchanges all over the world. One could argue that is the one reserve currency. I don't think that. Well, there's something interesting. I saw something the other day as well, and I have to remember where I saw it. It's probably on Twitter, where they talked about the American financial system still be in place, but it would be using something other than the U.S. dollar. And you guys never ever forget that that document from let's see, hold on one second, from with the AAIB on it. Let me see if I can find that. Because that diagram to me still, it speaks volumes still to what it ultimately is going on, in my opinion. It's still, okay, so there it is there. I'll change the diagram so you guys can see that. That still makes sense today. I mean, check this thing out. It still makes sense today. right? And this is, again, guys, we never can ever forget that this has been around for a long time, right? So this has been around and out for a while. I don't know if it was the Ripple Riddler, if it was the Bear, but that 123. I don't know if it was Yo-Yo. I don't know who came up with this thing or presented it, made it known to us, or put it together. But it does, in fact, say on the bottom left, dollar system is now gone. The dollar system is now gone. However, fiat is here to stay, right? And so that kind of says to me that the dollar and the way it's been used as the world reserve currency is no longer going to be the thing. It's no longer going to be the thing. And can we take off the table here in the top right or middle right what says gold-based XRP, true liquidity as real-time settlement? We still can't take that off the table as well. So let me go to Twitter and let me share some things that is kind of food for thought. Jackie33, good morning again. How are you? Good to see you in the stream. Crypto Insomniac, good afternoon. TF is in the building. Yo. Okay, yo. So you think it was yo? Yep, probably was. Hey, Joseph C. Happy Friday, C. Happy Friday to you, man. Marco Polo, what's going on, Marco Polo? Steve Mack is in the building. How are you, Steve Mack? Sochia Chim. Morning. How are you? Where are you checking in from? Did I say that right? Sochia Chim? California. Okay, cool. Giuseppe Accardi. Good afternoon to all. Giuseppe, how are you? Giuseppe, like you saying Giuseppe. Giuseppe, how are you, Giuseppe? Good to see you in the stream. Gary Brown, hey Siege, happy Friday from London. Hey, Gary, how are you? Good to see you checking into the stream, my friend. Let's get over here and check out something. I saw something from Real XRP Boy on Twitter that I thought was really, really interesting. He's got, I just started following him. But boy, does he have some really interesting stuff. Really interesting stuff. Crypto asset company to fall on the UK FCA. Crypto asset companies to fall under UK FCA supervision. From today, the UK's Financial Contact Authority will oversee companies doing. Whoa. Oh, is that right? Will oversee companies doing business with crypto assets. Whoa. I'll have to get back to that one. It's interesting. So check this out. I got to find the right one, though. Once again, shout out to Fame. Yeah, I know. I'm in this Patreon. The dude is XRP Darren is absolutely amazing. That wasn't the best video. This was a good one also. So it's obvious to me that maybe this guy, Real XRP Boy, shout out to Real XRP Boy, is probably a Patreon as well. So this is something I just let me see if I can find this for you guys and play this for you. Just something to think about, something that makes you go, I gotta find it on my phone first. What do we got here? And I'm telling you, it'll make you think twice. It'll make you. For me, it was like, of course, this has been planned from the beginning. Of course, they have been looking into doing this. Where have we heard this before? Yeah. So I forget the guy's name. I believe he's from Korea. But let me find that first. Makes you think. Here it is right here. Was an engineer. Have you guys check this out because I think it's really pretty interesting. It's on those plans within plans kind of thing, right? That makes you think. So check this out, guys. Crisis design, the economic crash of 2008 and 2000. What happened? Hold on one second, guys. 53 people on the stream. What's going on? Glad to see you here. 31 likes, guys. You haven't had a chance to smash the likes on the way in. If you're enjoying the content, just X out real quick, smash the like, and then come back and hang out. This is going to be good, guys. Hold on a second. I want to make sure I get this right. Triple sovereign nations globally to make way for a world currency and a new bank of the economic crash of 2008 and 2009 was an engineered crisis designed to cripple sovereign. That's not loud enough. Hold on. The economic crash of 2008 and 2009 was an engineered crisis designed to cripple sovereign nations globally to make way for a world currency, a new bank of the world.
China's holding what, 1.5 trillion worth all over the world. They're holding U.S. currencies. They want to get out of them in a way where they're not going to lose on their investments. There's going to be a world currency. There's going to be a new reserve currency. They're going to push it through the IMF. That's going to be the banksters that are going to be in charge of it. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
There was also a question to Geithner. Do you think that the U.S. dollar ought to be replaced? And he blew it. He had a moment of candor where he said, yeah, we're considering that. So on that day, the dollar went down 1% within a couple of minutes.
Chinese government proposal about a global currency and about IMF regulations, the new IMF idea about general use to borrow and having a faster dispersed emerging markets. As I understand this proposal, it's a proposal designed to increase the use of the IMF's special drawing rights. And we're actually quite open to that suggestion.
Timothy Geithner's comment about global currency is not off the table because it's not off the table and it's going to come. The whole world is ready to bail out of bucks. They just want to do it in a way where they're not going to lose on their investments. That's all that's going on.
All the people around the world, the Japanese who have $1 trillion, the Chinese who have $1 trillion, the Saudis have $1 trillion, the Europeans something similar. They're all going to dump it at the same time. The rush for the exits. And that will then create hyperinflation.
Guys, I'm going to play that one more time, and I want you to pay close attention to the global currency bailout of U.S. dollars. They don't want to lose out on their investment. They don't want to lose out on their investment. And how could that possibly happen? How could that possibly happen? Well, it would have to come from somewhere in the U.S., right? Somewhere in the U.S. and a negotiation, right? And what would be the bargaining mechanism, right? Play it for you one more time. Economic crash of 2008 and 2009 was an engineered crisis designed to cripple sovereign nations globally to make way for a world currency and a new bank of the world.
China's holding what, 1.5 trillion worth all over the world. They're holding U.S. currencies. They want to get out of them in a way where they're not going to lose on their investments. There's going to be a world currency. There's going to be a new reserve currency. They're going to push it through the IMF. That's going to be the banksters that are going to be in charge of it. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
There was also a question to Geithner. Do you think that the U.S. dollar ought to be replaced? And he blew it. He had a moment of candor where he said, yeah, we're considering that. So on that day, the dollar went down 1% within a couple of minutes.
Chinese government proposal about a global currency and about IMF regulations, the new IMF idea about general use to borrow and having a faster dispersed emerging markets. As I understand this proposal, it's a proposal designed to increase the use of the IMF's special drawing rights. And we're actually quite open to that suggestion.
Timothy Geithner's comment about global currency is not off the table because it's not off the table and it's going to come. The whole world is ready to bail out of bucks. They just want to do it in a way where they're not going to lose on their investments. That's all that's going on.
All the people around the world, the Japanese who have $1 trillion, the Chinese who have $1 trillion, the Saudis have $1 trillion, the Europeans something similar, they're all going to dump it at the same time. The rush for the exits. And that will then create hyperinflation.
Guys, when I heard this video and heard this, that's that argument, guys. 66 people in the stream. I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't had a chance to smash a like on the way in, just X out of the chat real quick. Go smash that like, and then come back and hang out in chat. Let's talk about this for a minute. Yeah, exactly. And that's my point, Win Mullet. Geithner looks like a young kid in that video, right? Just think about that. That is an old video, says Passionate Rick. It isn't that, and that's exactly my point, Passionate Rick. My point is that they have been thinking about this move of this reserve currency moving away from the U.S. dollar for a while now. Over, it looks like a decade or so. Right? So this, and did you guys catch, it said China had proposed. China had proposed this back then. And Geithner was in terms of moving away from the U.S. dollar. And Geithner was saying, well, the proposal was more along the lines of not only moving away from the U.S. dollar, but increasing the use of the SDR by the IMF. And we just, was it even 2 or 3 weeks ago, we just read an article where they were talking about this very fact today. They're talking about that very fact today and how the IMF could finally do that and why it would be beneficial to do that. And so, and when you hear in the video that the IMF is going to be the one that's going to do this, it's going to be done through the IMF. And think about how long ago that video was made. Deep Mind is in the building. What is going on? Late to the stream. Sup, peoples? I'll be lurking, watching, streaming from the beginning. Stream from the beginning. All right, brother. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you being here, right? And so that's the point, Windmill. Long time. It's an old video. Can someone post a link for that video? I'll see if I can do that if I'm not great with Twitter, but we'll see how that works. Gerald. So who is Gerald Salente? Oh, Gerald Salente. Is that the guy with the hair? Oh, Windmill, is that what you're saying? Absolutely. Eli's in the building. What's going on? Gucci Girl's like, yeah, like 10 years old at least. What is the name of that video? Would like to watch it on my own. Yep, I'll get that to you. I'll get it to you. Right? And so think about the points that they make there. Crypto Insomniacs in the building. Pablo Doman. How you doing, Pablo? I love that. I love that, Pablo Domain. Haters be hating because they don't want you to have XRP. Live life, stream, and we'll hodl because we are the chosen one, the standard, right? And so that's kind of my point there. And this is just me taking some brief notes. This is going to be something that's going to be done through the IMF. Yeah, but the hesitation has been over the years. They don't want China, Japan, the ECB, Saudi, they don't want to lose out on their investment, right? 1.5 trillion in U.S. currencies. Japan over $1 trillion. The European nations over $1 trillion. Saudi over $1 trillion. They don't want to lose out on their investment, right? So what is it that the Donald, guys, 75 people, 77 people on the stream, 50 likes, 50 likes. Let's keep that consecutive streak going where we have just as many likes as we got people in the stream. I would definitely appreciate that. Let's set a record for YouTube. Set a record for YouTube. The consecutive streams are doing that. I think we only missed one. Gucci Girl, I think we only missed one. Gucci Girl's like wowzer after she heard that, right? So what is that mechanism? What's the tool? What does why hasn't this been done before? Why wasn't this done in 2009 and 2010? Why wasn't it done in 2012 and 2015? And the reason is because they were not ready. I don't think it's any small coincidence that Bitcoin got introduced to the world in 2009, right after that madness that happened. I don't think that was a coincidence at all. At all. I really don't. Perhaps they thought it was going to be Bitcoin was going to be the thing. And then they found all the flaws in it. And then they got together and said, let's do something better. Let's improve upon this thing, right? But what is it? What is the tool? What's the bargaining chip that the Donald has? Could it possibly be XRP? Could it possibly be the XRP as a kind of a way to shore up and settle? Is XRP the bargaining chip? We all know the use cases behind it and the value behind XRP. And it feels as though China knows. We all know that Japan and Saudi and the ECB know. We know that. We know that without question that they know. Could it be this XRP? Could it be the ledger and getting all the largest economies of the world on the ledger and using this digital asset? Could it be that they've already determined that this thing is going to have a price set and a value to it the same way that gold and oil has? Or could it be something like that diagram I showed you where it says a gold-based, I don't know what that means. I know we get back into arguments back and forth about it. XRP as liquidity. Don't know. But it feels as though, it really feels as though you throw in the ILP, the Interledger Protocol, you throw in the XRPL ledger, you throw in XRP, and it's just one on top of the other. Connect the worlds, use this thing where you can track every single payment. And it's going to be KYC, it's going to be AML, it's going to be CFT. And use this greatest digital asset that's ever created. And in order to take the debt situation, this thing gets valued to take care of the central bank debts or the government debts. This thing gets valued at this price using the NASDAQ that's tapping into this exchanges and determining the value in terms of liquidity. So it's a step-by-step process, right? How do we get this utility up? How do we get the value of this up? How do we justify whatever it is? It's in the works. It's in the works, and they know it. And what could possibly happen is if this thing has been pre-allocated, like Brad Kimes has said several times on his stream, if it is in fact pre-allocated, and they know now that this thing is going to have a certain value, wouldn't that help? Right? Wouldn't this be a way for them to not lose on their investments? Who better to negotiate the divvying out of this XRP than the Donald? Who better to do that? And we all know Executive Order 13772, the company Ripple is mentioned in that executive order. We're talking about this new financial system. This new financial system? A new financial system. I mean, could it be? Could it be? That video, I'm telling you, is so telling, right? What did make sense? And see, for the longest time, I couldn't quite understand why not in 2012, why not in 2010, why not 2011. What's kind of holding them up? And it's because the Bitcoin wasn't doing its thing, and XRP was just beginning to do its thing. That Bitcoin wasn't going to be the thing that's exclusive to perhaps the U.S. of A. that can be used as a bargaining tool, but XRP can. Born and raised and created in the good old US of A. And who better to sell it? Who better to sell it and negotiate than the Donald? It's a possibility. Staff Sergeant of Marines, what's going on, my dude? Incredible information on the chat today. Yeah. XRP Lava's in the building. What's going on, XRP Lava? Blue Siege Truth. What's up, Siege? What's up, Blue Siege? How you doing, my friend? Rob Singh is in the building. How you doing, Rob Singh? XRP Joe says, thank you so much for the $2 super chat, XRP Joe. What you do here is so valuable. Thank you, Siege. Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. It's great to be a content creator in this space and more importantly in the XRP community. I appreciate that, brother. Carl Wagner snuck him in. He did sneak up on me, man. It's Carl Wagner. What's going on, friend? What's going on, friend? How you doing, bro? Make sure I didn't miss anybody coming in. Eli. I said that, Eli, right? Oh, man. Carl, you've been in here for a bit. Mark Wilgus is in the building. How are you? XRP is the truth and the way to divvy up the world's debt. If this is true, I'm afraid of the U.S. taking our XRP. Yep, we talked about this a couple of streams ago, Mark Wilgus. And it feels as though that this is a possibility, and we want to be 2 or 3 steps ahead. It feels like that they could possibly do something very, very similar to the gold confiscation that happened in the U.S. and where they say this is the price that we're going to give you for your gold, but you got to turn in your gold for the greater good. For the greater good, something very similar could happen with that with XRP, but it would obviously have to be right back then. You could hold your gold. You can't or hide your gold. You can't hold or hide your XRP. So if they did that, what's the price? What are they going to give us for what we've done? It's a possibility. We don't know. But if they did something like that, say $500 or $1,000 per XRP, that's an immediate price set. That satisfies XRP need. So never ever forget this: XRP needs to be at a high value in order for it to set. Just for the transactions, just from the banking payments perspective, XRP needs to be at a high value just to satisfy that. But if that's what they do, if they say XRP is at this number to satisfy this volume, this price set, to satisfy the need for high volume transactions, right? They can do it there. They can point to the repo market. They can point to the lack of liquidity and determine a set price for XRP, right? It's just they know what they need to do. It's just how are they going to get to this high price for XRP? Is it going to be the repo market? Is it going to be, what's going to be that thing where they say XRP is this liquidity provider and we need to get it at this price? Like is it going to be because of the banking system and what's going on there? Is it going to be the 10 or 11 trillion dollars in Nostra? What's going to be the avenue? What's going to be the lane that they begin to go down and start talking to mainstream media about that's going to allow them to set this price for XRP, right? Is it the Nostra Vostra accounts? Is it the central bank debt? Is it the government's debts of the world? What is it going to be? We don't know, but it feels like it's going to be something. They know that the value of XRP, that price of XRP rather, has to be high. And they just got to figure out a way to do it where they don't cause you and I, think about this, where they don't cause you and I to run out of our warm, comfortable homes and into the streets rioting, as D&I likes to say, because they don't want that. So what's the thing that they can do? Is it that they'll begin talking about this on-demand liquidity tool and that the banks have liquidity management issues and they need to, is it going to be that? What's the thing? What's the narrative that they're going to begin to start spinning on mainstream media so the mainstream media can get it out to the masses? What is it going to be? I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know. It feels easier. It feels easier to begin talking about the trillions of dollars locked up in no Shervosa accounts, because you can't argue that. That's a fact. You can't argue that the old antiquated system with these intermediary banks and that system has failed or is failing. And you can't argue. Like, any person will say, any smart, intelligent person, they get some bankers on there, they get some whatever on there, they get Mnuchin on there, they get Powell on there, and they begin talking about this 10 to 11 trillion dollars that could be freed up with a better liquidity management tool. The 10 to 11 trillion that is tied up in Nostra Rosso, that's not a myth. That's not an idea. That's not some old fable. Excuse me. That's a fact. And if they begin to point that out to the masses and begin to talk about the benefits of freeing that money up, which is why Brad Garlinghouse has been saying that that's what they've been looking to do. That was just Brad Garland, and what they decided to do was just a way to comfortably make an argument for explain why is even Ripple here? Why is this company even here? What are they doing? Why are they even messing with the banks? Right? That's a very comfortable way. He's been saying it from day one. There's 10, 11 trillion dollars in Nostra Rosa account. If we could free up just $1 trillion, could you imagine what that'd do for free up capital? Perhaps the loan prices get better. Perhaps, right? That's just been one dude. It's just been Brad Garlinghouse. And maybe some of the corporate people from Ripple. But what about when mainstream media begins to do that? Because they'll get the word, okay? They'll get their scripts from old money, right? And so when mainstream media starts to talk more and more about the benefits, well, what would cause that argument? What would bring up that discussion? How about the repo market? How about the disaster that is the repo market? You think that might stir on that conversation? That might spur on that conversation? You think it might? Because I got to tell you what, we keep hearing about this repo market. We keep hearing about how these small and medium-sized banks are not getting anything from the top 7, 8 banks, from the larger banks. The larger banks are no longer participating, right? Maybe that's it. And Kime said he thought that Ripple on their site or something talked about, I don't know if it was, he said Larson talked about it or Ripple on their insights talked about it, about using the ODL in the repo market. So I don't know if he said Kimes or if he said Ripple, but it was on the end of the stream. It was like one of the very last things said on the stream with Cryptopolis this morning. And I don't know if he said Ripple had said this or if Larson had said this, but he said they mentioned that the ODL could be used in the repo market. When was that said? How was that done? When did that happen? Because I didn't hear that. Where was that? Any of you guys seen that or heard that? Let me check on some of the people on the stream. Mark 958, I appreciate you being here, brother. Good afternoon. Yeah, I don't think they want. Yeah, that's an interesting thing, right? So we don't know if we want the rioting. We may want people upset, right? I don't know if they, obviously they can't control it, but we don't want bank run scenarios, I don't think, right? When mullet. Oh, there it is. Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you, When mullet. Somebody's looking for my email. Danny Loft, you sure have a big heart. Danny Loft is in the building? Is Danny Loft in the stream? There is Danny Loft. Hey, Danny, what's going on, man? I appreciate you being here, bro. I don't think I've seen you in this stream before. Stark Origin is in the building. How are you? Hi, Crypto Siege. Is that possible to contact you in private? Yep. My email is on there. Thanks to Win Mullet. Franjo Tiek. I'm a modest. Gotcha. Appreciate you being here, man. Danny Loft is XRP good? Carl Wagner says, wow. Gary Brown's like, at $150, I'm out. Cashing in. Oh, Danny Loft says he's new here. Hey, Danny. You're new to this channel, right? I thought I've seen you your name before, so I appreciate you being here, bro. Oh, $5 super chat. Who was this from? Danny Loft. Oh wow, Danny Loft. Thank you very much, bro. I appreciate that. I think the 131 clue from Schwartz is referring to January 31st Brexit deadline and the Financial Services Committee on Cross-Border Payments in Congress. Okay, I got you. Didn't they vote Boris's? Didn't they, in reference to that Brexit, didn't they agree to Boris Johnson's deal? His move, didn't they agree to that? I thought they did. I appreciate that super chat, my friend. Very, very kind, Danny Loft. I appreciate that big time. That's exactly right. Staff Sergeant Marines, like, only way I see all my XRP for the greater good, only way I sell all my XRP for the greater good, I need a minimum of 2,000 per XRP. All the glitches we've seen lately are not for no reason. Exactly. It's a reason behind it without question. And Jackie 33 makes a great point. And with all of the derivatives, it will be a financial and an investment tool as well. Exactly. That's exactly right. I just got to find, I don't know if it's the Ripple Insights or a video or something. I hear the super chats. Maybe it's subs. No, it's going up there, but I don't see them. I apologize. It's not coming up. But right, I got to find out where this thing is, where they talk about that the ODL, which is a new thing, can be used in the repo market. I didn't see that anywhere. I really didn't. I would love to see that. That's exactly right. XRP makes a great point. XRP Joe makes a great point. My pleasure. So he's saying, for the chat, and I appreciate that again. This XRP comment deserves all the support we can give each other. I'm thinking, community probably. After all, we are the new wealthy of this planet, without question. We have responsibilities to do better than the last folks have. That's exactly right, bro. We are the new generational wealth. And, that's why I talk about, increasing the number of people that come into the digital asset space and come into the community for XRP, because we're going to do it better than they did it, right? We're going to do it better than they did it. Let me see. Did I miss anything? Oh, there's Danny Loft again. Okay, thank you, Danny Loft. I appreciate that. I have been in the crypto space for over 3 years. I got you, bro. Yeah, absolutely. So that's in the crypto space. That's a long time, right? Absolutely. So you went through that bull run in 2017, huh, Danny Loft? Staff Sergeant Marine says, Siege, Mr. Wendell makes an outstanding point. Okay. Mr. Wendell says we as XRP holders don't hold enough XRP as a collective for them to ask us to turn it in at a set price. In my opinion, hey, you could possibly be right. You could possibly be right about that, man. Absolutely. Badjo Naji, yes, done. Badjo Naji, yesterday. Badjo Naji, appreciate you being in the stream, bro. Let me make sure I catch up. David Edmond, I didn't see you check in. How are you, David? Good to see you here. What up? Just thought if Bitcoin has no utility, would Bitcoin be useless? If it was useless, would it be taken off the exchange? That means if it was XRP, maybe the leading coin would move into Mars. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do with Bitcoin. I know it seems like they're attacking it. When you're talking about climate control, when it comes to the digital asset space, that's a direct hit at Bitcoin. And so, there's one thing that they could do, and that is to put it on a ledger that would solve all of those kind of issues. And that's still a possibility. So we'll see. It really is going to depend on the powers that be and whether or not, the super ultra wealthy want to continue to have Bitcoin. I think that's ultimately the deciding factor. Because for me, why is Bitcoin valuable is the same question you could ask about art. Why is art valuable? Why do people find it valuable? The person who created it, who created the art, thinks it's valuable, and the people who buy it, they both agree that it's valuable. And that's the same thing that's going on with Bitcoin. Robert Westberg is in the building. What's going on, bud? Robert agrees with Mr. Wendell. Totally agree as well. They have their own bags they want to keep. They certainly. Oh, that's true too. That's a good point. They have their own bags. That would mean they would have to turn in their bags as well, doesn't it? That's an interesting point. Maybe that means they have to turn in their own bags as well. But that is an interesting point, Robert. Good to see you in the stream, brother. That was an interesting video. Was that video not very, very, very telling? Again, it looks like at least 10 years old. Carl Wagner says, we are the new future banks. Liquidity will be needed, and they will come to us. How about that? How about that? Newell Jordan is in the building. Interesting points. Good to see you in the stream, Newell. Silver Surfer, yo. On the train at London Bridge, listening. Oh, wow. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you hanging out, Silver Surfer. Be careful out there, bro. Yeah, Robert Westbrook's at Crypto Seas. Yes, very, very telling. That video, I'm telling you, like, wow, it makes you think. And I just took some, I just took some quick notes as I listened to it. But when you think about them saying that they've been wanting to move off this U.S. dollar as the reserve currency for a long time, but they did not want to lose out on their investment. Just makes sense. That makes sense. That's why it hasn't been done yet, because XRP has not proven out yet. That's why 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, right? And now we're starting to talk about it. Now we're starting to talk about it because we have the ILP, we have the XRPL. They've proven out to themselves. We know about XRP being the greatest digital asset. It's been proven in the real world. And that's just one of its great use cases, right? MoneyGram, that's a real world use case. So now we can start now they can start talking about this private partnership between fintech and the governments of the world, if you will. Because now they're all in place. The ILP, the freaking XRPL, the XRP and its use cases, the digital asset space as a whole is growing. They know it's here to stay. And I'm telling you, the second Clayton said, the second that dude said, look, it's here. And if we don't adopt it and embrace it, he said, if we don't embrace it, it is going to go around us and be used and implemented anyway. That's why they're talking about the private partnership, because Ripple has proven that we're going to move whether you continue to drag your feet or not. We're going to move. Remember when he said that from stage? We're going to keep the blinders on and our head down and keep building. And that's exactly what they've done. They don't need to wait on a regulation. They just don't. They don't need to wait on a regulation. right? You got Flash FX using it in Australia. You got MoneyGram that they figured out a way for MoneyGram to use it. Where's the regulation? How's MoneyGram using it in the U.S.? There's no regulation here. How are they using it? They figured out a way. And according to Mickey B. Fresh, they subtly, or they chose not to, say to us, remind us, state in an interview or anything that this ODL is a revamped version of X-Rapid. This new ODL, they don't have to touch it, smell it, taste it, be able to spell it. They don't even have to be able to spell ODL, and they can use it. They don't even have to spell it, and they can use it. Let me find that. And obviously I'm joking, but did you guys know? Did you guys know that this ODL is actually a new and revamped? It's not just a transition from the name X-Rapid to a new name ODL. It's actually a different type of animal. It's a different beast. Did you guys know that? Thank God for Mickey B. Fresh. Holy cow. Did you guys know that? I didn't know that. Let me see if I can't find that. Oh, I missed a super chat. Oh, my gosh. Danny Loft, wow. Thanks again, bro. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you contributing to the channel, bro. Trump and his new appointee to the Fed are big fans of returning to a gold-backed dollar. Yep, they certainly are. They certainly are. Listen, here's the thing that I can say pretty confidently. The Donald has a plan. He boldly talked about getting rid of the debt. Boldly. He has a plan. The question is, what is his ace in the hole? What's his bargaining chip? You know what I mean? And it has something to do with Ripple, because he wouldn't have mentioned it in the new financial system order, executive order 13772. He would have not mentioned Ripple if it wasn't part of his plan. He wouldn't have mentioned it. Why else would you put this fintech company out of San Francisco in this new financial system order? Why would you put that company in there? It's a brand new company. Haven't even been around that long. Why would he put that in there if it was not part of his plan? It just makes sense. So let me see if I cannot find that, because I think it's very, very, very telling that they made this revamping. They did this revamping of the ODL. See if I can't find that. I think that's very, very telling. Market Wilgus is like, just flip the switch and turn on. Spanish Fly says, thank you all for supporting Crypto Seeds. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Spanish Fly, for being here. Definitely appreciate that. XRP Free Me is in the building. What's going on, XRP Free Me? XRP Free Me? Richard Griffin is in the building. Smart, good points. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you being here. The chat is doing its thing, is it not? Guys, 94 people in the stream, 73 likes. You guys are killing it. If you haven't had a chance, if you didn't get a chance to smash the like on the way in, if you're enjoying this content, if you're enjoying hanging out in the chat, just collapse the chat real quick. Go smash that like and come back and hang out. We're trying to keep the continuous stream streak of just as many likes as we have viewers in the stream. And let me find this thing from Mickey B. Fresh. So how many of you guys knew that the ODL was not the what is it? It's not the same X-Rapid. How many of you guys knew that? Danny Loft, another $5 super chat. Hey, brother, I appreciate that, man. Trump may be a fan of XRP due to Kushner, is a big investor in Grayscale and Robinhood, without question. Jared Kushner. Yes. A big investor in Grayscale and Robinhood, and Kushner is very, very close with is it Ken Kurson, who is a Ripple investor and an XRP investor. And Kurson and Kushner are very, very tight. Danny Loft, very, very tight. Kurson was in an interview calling Chris Larson by his first name. Yeah, I was hanging out with Chris and we were talking. Like, what? What? I was hanging out with Chris and we were talking. Yeah, Chris Larson Chris Larson became the CEO of Ripple. He's calling Chris Larson by his first name, Kurson. Kirshner and Kushner are cool. Very, very tight. Kirshner works for Jared Kushner's The Observer. He owns it. Jared Kushner owns that. Jared Kushner's brother is the CEO and runs the New York Observer. I think it might be named The Observer now. So they know about XRP. Let me see what Robert has to say. Then I'm going to find this thing. Robert Westberg says, at Crypto Siege, with so much coming out, I don't think they can keep this rocket from taking off too much longer without price action due to speculation and having more hot lists. Exactly, man. Exactly, because I believe, just like you, I don't think that they want more XRP wallets. Whatever the number is, at 1.8 million, I don't think they want 3 million XRP wallet holders. I just don't believe it. I don't think they want that. I really don't think they want that. Let me see where I found it. Shout out to Mickey B. Fresh. Let me see if I can't find that. I'm gonna. Let me see. All right, this is on the Ripple Insights page, but I don't know where you find it, so I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna share it with you guys. This is a lot easier for me to do it this way. You guys are having an amazing chat in that stream, in the chat. I love it, love it. Here's one, and it's only two of them, but so you guys can check this out. I'm telling you, it's very, very telling. And Mickey B. Fresh is like, they intentionally left this thing out. They intentionally didn't say anything. Isn't it interesting that we didn't know this? I didn't know it, and if Mickey B. Fresh didn't know it, obviously there's something that they were holding close to their chest and didn't want to say anything about. Obviously. Oh, what in the world? Hold on, guys. Hold on. All right. So let's do this so you guys can check this out. All right. So here's the thing. How on-demand liquidity works, ODL works. Here's what happens in a span of seconds. RippleNet converts. You see how it has market maker using Ripple's proprietary software, providing a white label service for market makers, not necessarily the exchanges, market makers. RippleNet converts the local currency into XRP at a digital asset exchange. RippleNet does this. Remember Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions saying there's an internal use with XRP and there's an external use, right? RippleNet, and what she was saying is the external use, people don't necessarily have to, that institution doesn't have to use, touch, smell, whatever, XRP. They want to make something happen, but they can use RippleNet, and RippleNet will actually be doing the work. RippleNet converts the local currency into XRP. That's a key thing there. It says RippleNet will do that. Converts the local currency into XRP at a digital asset exchange and sends it instantly across the XRP ledger to an exchange partner. RippleNet does this and sends it to an exchange partner in the destination country. There, the XRP is converted into local currency on the destination side. The payment is then forwarded to the end beneficiary, usually a payout provider on RippleNet. And then, hold on. This is the key, guys. This is the key. This is on the Ripple Insights page. At no point along this payment journey is the end user, sender. So this is three people. At no point along this payment journey is the end user, number one, the sender, number two, or the receiver interacting with or owning or holding digital assets. Let me say that again. At no point along this payment journey is the end user, the sender, or the receiver interacting with, owning, or holding digital assets. This is important to note, as most remitters look to send payment in the fiat currency native to the country from which they are sending, while receivers continue to seek fiat payments native to the country in which they are receiving the international funds. How many know, or how many knew, that the behemoth, the genius in motion that is Ripple, made that move? How many knew? I didn't know. Let me change this view. We'll talk about this. Every time Ripple, the genius in motion. Oh, XRP Harlem, thanks for the $2 super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. IBM is testing Ripple for cross-border payments. How about that? For cross-border now, so they've gone away from Stellar for cross-border. XRP Harlem, I thought that it was Stellar for cross-border and some kind of integration use case thing with Ripple. So are they now testing Ripple now for cross-border? Staff Sergeant Rain Siege, great stuff, bro. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man. Synetic. So if no one is meant to hold XRP tokens, what does that mean for Hotlips? Right, so it's still moving. It's still moving. It's still being transacted. It's just that they're taking away the element of having to hold it. Because they're saying, that's why Clayton is saying this thing is being done and it's in place. And if we don't embrace it, they're moving without us. They figured out a way that they can still do these transactions. They can still make the currency transaction happen without having to deal with regulatory clarity, without having had regulatory clarity. They can still do the transaction. That's what they're saying. They don't have to hold it, touch it, own it. They don't even have to be able to spell ODL, okay? And the transaction is still going to happen. That's what Clayton was saying. Just because of this ODL. I didn't know. Mark Wilger says ODL is instant liquidity. Flip the switch. Exactly. Listen, I'm going to read it from my phone here. At no point along this payment journey is the end user, the person or the sender, the end user or the sender or receiver. And the sender, to me, is so important because you can expand, you can get more people on the network who are senders, who want this 35 to 40% saving, who want, if they don't, and then maybe look to join RippleNet to now get the 7 and the 75% saving. We want the RippleNet to increase, right? We want the compounded, the network effect to take place. Well, now we got a way to do that. So these people know they don't even have to get on RippleNet. They can still use it and get 30 to 35% savings. But if you want all the added additional benefits from being on the RippleNet, like 70 to 75% savings and have access to, what is it, Ripple Home or ODL Home, whatever they're calling that. But yeah, Ripple, the company says we will pivot and we will adjust because we begin with the end in mind. Our customer is always right. What does the customer need to be able to use the XRPL, which is using XRP? What is it that they want? How can we satisfy? So they transitioned from this XRapid now to this ODL. And you think it's no small coincidence that IMF.org is mentioning a liquidity management tool? You think that's by accident? They know. They know. And I can't wait to find this thing that Kime said at the end of the stream today. I can't find it. I don't know where it is, but Kime said that it was either Ripple on Ripple Insights or Larson said that the ODL could be used in the repo market. I haven't seen it. I hope I can find it. All right, guys, let me catch some of these comments here. Then I'm gonna wrap this stream up. Dark Matter Trading Group, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the stream. TJ Jackson's in the building. How are you, TJ? Dolomite XRP, what is going on? Danny Law, thanks for the $5 super chat, bro. You've been doing. I appreciate you being here, brother. After Ripple has its IPO, how about that? It will come out that Ripple and Stellar are working together via IBM, plans within plans. How about that? That is why Stellar burned supply. Interesting. I was trying to figure out what in the heck is Stellar doing. I'm very curious to see how Ripple and Stellar are working together, but who knows? Payments, right? A lot of people have always kind of thought, Stellar for kind of payments, Ripple for cross-border settlement. Like, it's hard to say. The great thing about XRP is it has many use cases. It's not just a settlement mechanism, right? It can be used in so many other different things, and you got the XRPL ledger. But cross-border payments is the thing, and it's just this IBM. And so if IBM has a thing and they have a blockchain thing, it can plug in to the ledger. That we do know. It can plug into the ledger. Yeah, but that doesn't. Yeah, when they begin to hoard it, right? And so this is Ripple pivoting according to the current situation, right? In other words, Mr. Wendell, Ripple is not going to wait for regulatory clarity. So, right, they don't have. The ODL is saying we're not waiting for clarity. We're not waiting for you to say that the banks can hold it. We're going to figure out a way for banks and FIs to still use it without having to hold it, right? And so let's say some kind of clarity comes out and now they are able to hold it. All Ripple is going to do is just pivot again. They are in complete control of that software. They can make it any way, shape, form. They can cut it up, slice it, and dice it any way that we want. Well, they could say, well, not due to regulatory changes in the environment, and banks can now hold it, right? Maybe it's the Volcker rule allowing them to be able to do it in some way, shape, form, and fashion. Don't know. Maybe the Volcker rule is a way for them through these hedge funds to be able to have it. Ripple will pivot in any direction that they need to pivot. In the end, XRP is still being used, whether it's held or not held. It's still being used. Burn rate still going on, still being used. And when Flash FX and MoneyGram keep talking about savings and money and different avenues that they can move, more and more people are going to come. More and more people are going to be joined. And if, in fact, they say something along the lines that ODL can be used in the repo market, it's over. FYI, says Staff Sergeant Marines, banks need $473 billion just for this weekend alone. just for this weekend alone. So I don't, again, this was something that Kime said, but I don't know where that is. But if that is true, that's right. Daniel Off, great point. At Crypto Seas, some are saying that it is huge. American Express into China. Well, that is part of phase 1 trade deal to allow fintech into China. Fintech includes XRP. That's exactly right. Where is the intro on the phase 1 deal? Mark Wilkes, this has been your best siege, and I've seen most of your 2 vids. Thank you, Mark Wilkes. I appreciate that, brother. XRP Holland's like IBM has 97% of all banks use IBM mainframes. How about that? Drice, all add Siege's Twitter handle and Mike's XRP thread, making a list of no BS XRP researchers to get their names out there. Oh, thank you, Drice. I appreciate that, brother. And my Twitter handle is crypto_siege. M. Grimes is in the building. Oh, do tell. How about that? How, M. Grimes, how you doing today, man? The Swiss knife of crypto. M. Grimes says, Siege, you are the man. M. Grimes, I appreciate that, brother. Oh, there is somebody just asked me for my Twitter. Who just asked that? Oh, Mullet. Mullet's, what's your Twitter? When Mullet, somebody's asking for your Twitter, bro. M. Grimes says, your words are gold. Thank you, M. Grimes. That's right, Deep Mind Visionaire. People are sleeping on the XRP transaction burn rate. Every single transaction they burn in XRP. Limited supply. XRP as a liquidity tool, as a liquidity instrument, is an added thing to the cross-border settlement utility. That's just one thing. Liquidity tool is the one. It's the home run, because the global economic crisis waits on no one and has zero patience. And XRP can free up that nostro vostro. It is a liquidity tool. Spanish Fly is like, if they use ODL in the repo market, I can't even imagine what the price will be at that point. Exactly. And I've said this before in the stream. They took that repo market and just decided to throw everything and the kitchen sink and your neighbor's kitchen sink into that repo market. Why do you think that is? They want to be able to say that they did everything as humanly possible, and some even not even humanly possible things into that repo market. So that they can say, right, this is all over the news about what they're doing and the money that's being pumped into that repo market, right? Is it not? Which means that the masses know, because the masses always listen to mainstream media, right, to tell them what to do and how to think, right? So the masses know. The masses know. And then one day, here comes this ODL, possible. I'm just speculating. How about the ODL to the rescue? I'm still trying to find this on a Ripple Insights about ODL being used in the repo market. I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll hit up Kimes in the chat. Like, where is that? Where did you find that? Where did you find that? Where did they say that? All right. Did I get everybody's? I get everybody's comment. Steelers fans all day. Crawfish. Steelers fans all day. I hear that, bro. How about my New York Football Giants? What's up with that hire? We're gonna have to see how that goes. On tour. Hello from Nashville, Tennessee. Hello, on tour. Glad to see you to stream, my friend. So think about that. So it's a possibility. But I tell you what, don't let me find that Ripple Insights where they say they could use the ODL in the repo market. Don't let me find that. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to smash the likes on the way in, if you're enjoying the content, if you're enjoying the chat, collapse that chat real quick. Go smash the like button. Let's get just as many likes as we do have viewers, and then come back and hang out. Daniel says it gets signed next week, phase 1. Okay, perfect. I hope they divulge some of the information. I did hear, just like you, Danny, that it has to do with fintechs being able to do things in China, and that's going to include digital assets, right? And that's why Mnuchin, I really feel like, well, it's one of the reasons why Mnuchin was so giddy and acting like a 14-year-old boy when he was talking about how everybody was going to be so happy with phase one. Because again, the Donald is talking about the debt. He's talked about it from walking in the front door of the White House. He's going to get rid of the debt. How is he going to satisfy and or appease China, Japan, Saudi Arabia, and the ECB, who hold trillions, over $1 trillion, rather, of currency? They don't want to lose out, like that guy said in the video. They don't want to lose out on their investment. What can be done? What's the ace in the hole? What is that bargaining chip? Is it possibly something that is going to be in the bedrock, in the framework of this new financial system, that is a liquidity tool, that is a cross-border settlement entity, that has an XRPL that you could, by the way, that you can use, and where you could know that you don't have to deal with the money laundering and the KYC and the CFT. Yeah, you can get on that as well. The good old US of A, in my opinion. And I think that Donald knows it. That's why he mentioned Ripple. That's why he mentioned Ripple in Executive Order 13772, because he knows. Now, he may be hearing it from Kushner. He may be hearing it via Ken Kurson, but he knows. He knows. And again, Ken Kurson wasn't just a guy who invested in Ripple. Ken Kurson was a guy who also bought XRP when it was less than half a penny. He said that in an interview. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap this thing up like I do all my videos. I appreciate you guys hanging out. Let me do some shout outs real quick. Solely Main Solo. Hope for the American people and people crypto. Trump will. I appreciate you being here. Solely Main Solo. Danny Loft, as always, brother. I appreciate you being here, brother. He says that Crypto Sees, the ace in the hole is the held escrow account for economic reset. How about that? How about that? The held escrow. How about that? For the economic reset, right? We know, there's the thing that I do know without question, that the President Trump has a plan. He has a plan. And I believe Ripple and XRP are all over it. Deep Mind Lab Engineer says last year the average XRP burn rate was approximately 2 million. We haven't even really launched fully yet. Just one other facet to drive up price over time, without question. XRP number one's in the building. What's going on, man? Tone the base, an idiot. All right, XRP Caluna, I appreciate you being here, man. I really do appreciate you, my friend. Danny Loft, as always, appreciate you hanging out in the stream today, bro. All right, Roy Raymond, Matt Bauman Sauer, how are you, bro? Appreciate you being here. Deep Mind, as always, bro. Great to catch up with you, as always. We'll chat again offline, bro. Sunny Main Solo, appreciate you being here. Staff Sergeant in the Marines, thanks for hanging out today, bro. Win Mullet, appreciate you being here, brother. Doing an awesome job as a mod, as always. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. CK, what's going on? Steam, Shreddy, good. Growing, appreciate you being here. Synetic, appreciate you being here, man. If this pays out, Siege can buy the Giants. How about that? That is correct. They do burn XRP with every transaction. Staff Sergeant. Crossbridge, I appreciate you being here. M. Grimes. Mark 958, I appreciate you hanging out today, bro. Trice, appreciate you hanging out, contributing to the channel, brother. You're awesome, dude. Spanish Fly, appreciate you being here, miss. XRP Harlem, thanks for hanging out today. CK, thanks for hanging out, man. Mark Wilgus, I appreciate you hanging in the stream today, brother. Thanks for the kind words, bro. Appreciate that. Dolomite XRP is my name. I appreciate you being here, brother. Thanks for hanging out. Mr. Wendell, thanks for being here, bro. Dark Matter Trading Group, thanks for hanging out today. JS, thanks as always for being here, brother. Make sure I didn't miss anyone. TJ Jackson, thanks for hanging, dude. Robert Westberg, thanks for hanging out today, man. DL, thanks for being in the stream today, brother. I appreciate you tuning in. Cinetic, thanks for hanging out. Franhold Chiek, thanks for hanging out today, man. I appreciate that. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Let me make sure. Carl Wagner is in the building. I appreciate you hanging out today, Carl. Be safe, man. Farfish XRP, the one and only. Mr. Wendell, I appreciate you hanging out, man. Mr. Wendell, Siege, I love the discussions that you bring to the community. You should join the roundtable with Kimes in a live discussion. How about that? I'd love to hang out with the boys. Noel Jordan, I appreciate you being here, man. Jamil Jackson, thanks for hanging out today on the stream, bro. XR Poly Liqueur, appreciate you being here, my friend. Alex G, thanks for hanging out. BC Matrix, I appreciate you being here. Let's see, who else? Richard Griffin, thanks for hanging out today, brother. I think I got everybody to make sure. Bashir Shadri, thanks for hanging, my friend. I appreciate you being here, Bashir. Cadillac, what is going on, Cadillac? Appreciate you being in the stream today. Silver Surfer's in the building. I appreciate you hanging out, Silver Surfer. Gucci Girl, I appreciate you hanging today, Gucci Girl. Darren Trussell, man, I appreciate you hanging out, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Yes, they did. I'm from the UK. You're the boy crypto season. Hey, I appreciate that, man. Darren, thanks for hanging today, brother. David Edmond, thanks for hanging out today, man. Stark Origin, appreciate you being in the stream today, brother. Babel Najee, as always, appreciate you being here. Ronhold Theak, I said that. Eli, appreciate you hanging out today, man. Anthony King's in the building. How about that? That's correct, Anthony King. You're 1,000% correct about that, my friend. How about former Bash CEO and now Senator Kelly Loeffler, who serves on the committee that oversees the CFTC? Her husband is also in charge of the Intercontinental Exchange. That's exactly right. All right, guys, listen up. I'm going to wrap this video up like I do all my videos and remind you of this, and that is that old money doesn't want you to win. They don't want us to win. They would rather us remain a cog in their perpetual wheel of trading our time for dollars. They don't want us to play in the same playground that they play in, where we allow our money to work for us. This is our chance to win, guys. The digital asset space is our chance to win. We are in the midst of the greatest transfer wealth in the history of man. Are you participating? Or are you standing on the sidelines? Here's what I do know, that the battle for you has already been fought, and the victory is yours. Go get it. I'll talk to you soon, guys. See ya. Bye.